Hello, friends. This is Morgan Strongkomnick here, and thank you so much again for checking out another one of my videos. So I thought instead of you just staring at my goofy face animatedly while I am doing a convention review, I thought maybe I would just do some quick audio recordings and do a photo slideshow of my events for Cape Anime Con 2024. Huzzah! I've done several Cape anime conventions before. They are in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, and they are run by the fabulous Mr. Ken Murphy and the group Comically Inclined. And of course, Villainous Grounds, our wonderful local coffee comic book nerd haven, is there as well. They ran another cafe. This time it was Sailor Moon themed. Yay! And I've known about it for months because the daughter, or one of the daughters, also named Morgan, because, Morgans are fantastic. She knew that she knew that she wanted that to be her theme. And she didn't know much about Sailor Moon. So she reached out to me and gave her some ideas for drinks and food. And then she kind of did some exploration of her own. And they did such a fantastic job. They made sure they took care of all of the vendors and the guests. And everybody really enjoyed them. So yay, another wonderful year for the cafe. And of course, the Sailor Scouts always dominate. So yeah. So what is really wonderful about this year is we had 4 wonderful male anime voice actors, and 3 of the 4 are pretty big characters recurring in the just international staple anime Dragon Ball and all of its affiliated series, of course. So I admit I am not the biggest Dragon Ball fan, but I do respect it immensely for how it shaped culture. And it was the biggest property that Funimation had back in the very late 90s, early 2000s. And because of that, anime really kind of started taking off. Instead of being a Japanimation, it took off into anime. They were caring about the flaps and the emotions of the characters, and it just kind of revolutionized what we have now today. So we owe Dragon Ball a lot. We owe them like 7 wishes. Sorry, bad Shenron joke, I know. But I had the honor of getting to work with one of the voice actors. And I guess 2 kind of in a way, because I got to sit by 2 because they were buddies in the show. But what's really wonderful is they've been besties since the show aired in the U.S. in 1999. So for 25 years, their characters have been buddies in the show and besties in real life. And I absolutely love that. And I can't wait for me to tell you all about my adventures in getting to be an assistant to a celebrity for my 4th time. And of course, they're all incredible. And this one was no exception. So I had the honor and esteemed privilege to work with Mr. Chris. So I had the honor and the esteemed privilege to work with the Chris. And that's what he told me to refer to himself as, because we had 2 Chris voice actors there that weekend. So I got to work with Chris Rager, and he plays Mr. Satan in the Dragon Ball franchise. And again, I don't know a lot, but I did recognize the afro of the character. And of course, the flamboyance and that he's rich. And oh my gosh, Mr. Chris was just so chill, has such a rich, deep, booming voice, but just very like, hey man, that's cool, man. Love your tats, man. I don't know if he said man that much, but he was a blast to work with. And he was very sarcastic, kind of a, I don't want to say snarky sarcastic, but you guys know what I mean. And they were a little worried about me at first. They go, he's really easygoing, but he does have this humor. And I'm friends with Samurai Dan. Anybody who knows me well enough to talk about my wonderful friend Samurai Dan and his beautiful wife, Lady Jillian, realize that I can handle some intense, snarky sarcasm. So pretty quickly he realized, okay, I'm not just a little bubbly flower. I can handle myself. And we had a great time. And the people who ran it were very dedicated to making sure their celebrities had everything they needed, that they were happy, and they were just like, go, go, go. It was a little intimidating at first, but I admit that I am so glad they did that. And the celebrities felt really welcome. They said Cape was a very kind community, and they loved being there. So I was glad for that. And the Chris was great with all the fans. The people just lit up, and he was acting all tough at the beginning, like, oh, I'm not going to say lines. But the second somebody was happy, he would say like a little line as a character from One Piece. Apparently he's Blackbeard, so that's exciting. And he would mess with people cosplaying them as well. Mr. Satan was popular. He also did a character in Borderlands. I believe it was Torque, if I remember correctly. And I had a blast, interacting with all the people and the customers. And I knew a lot of people, so a lot of my friends showed up, and I got to introduce them to Chris. And he was so great with them. He got to play with some babies. He even made a baby cry with his Hulk Hogan impression. That was pretty funny. My friend Megan's twins were like melting his heart. They were just grinning at him, and they're just like, oh my gosh, this guy's so cool. So he was fantastic. Like I said, just really boisterous personality and voice, but big old sweetheart. And we had a great time talking. He had some really cool nerd icon shirts that kind of remind me of button-up Hawaiian style shirts, but one had a Millennium Falcon all over it, and one was Rick and Morty. So those are great conversation starters as well. And I knew by a couple hours like what his snack interest were, and I would just go and like surprise them with snacks and drinks or make sure they had cold water, and they just thought that was impressive. But I feel like, that's just something I should do, getting the opportunity from Mr. Ken and the convention to be an assistant and make sure that their stay is fantastic so they want to come and work with us again and tell other voice actors and celebrities how cool Missouri is. Yes, Missouri is cool. So I'm so glad I got to work with you, Mr. Chris. You are a delight. And I had so much fun, counting your dad puns. He almost made his goal. And getting show recommendations and just learning more about you and this wonderful franchise. So thank you so much. And you said I did a good job, and I don't think you would lie, but I really hope I did a good job for you and represented my state and my area and local convention as well as I possibly could. Another great thing is, well, not really a great thing, but I guess kind of a consoling thing. So this was a couple days after the news dropped that the creator of Dragon Ball, Mr. Akira, passed away. So fans were obviously very distraught. And here we had 3 very important key players to the English dub since 1999. So it was wonderful to have them there. And they even did a panel together, the 3 of them, and just kind of talked to fans about, what the show meant to them, their memories, and had a good time. And of course, Mr. Chris made them all chant his name, Mr. Satan, Mr. Satan, because again, he's a fighter and he likes winning. Which I made a comment that you could only say that at conventions without people getting mad at you, because I do technically live in the Bible Belt. And I shouldn't laugh, but anime, it's creative, it's fantasy. So, but I thought it was pretty interesting that he did that, and I'm glad he had a really good time. So, yay! And then next door to him, we had Mr. Josh Martin, and Josh plays Boo on B-U-U, Boo on Dragon Ball. So he loves sweets, and I just am a loser and found out that the sweets he eats are actually human souls. So I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't realize he turned humans into candy. Some Pokemon Go lore nonsense, but whatever. But he was a sweetheart, just so suave and just the sweetest smile. He just had this warm energy. Every time I got him like a snack or checked on him, he would like give me a hug or blow me a kiss, and he would dance all the time or just start rapping and singing when there was downtime. And he just loved life, and he was so compassionate. When he found out I was a teacher, we talked about how it is to work with children, because he had a very special job for several years that he got to work with children, and he realized the importance of making, their childhood something wonderful and memorable. So other than being Boo and also being in a couple other animes, he actually was the costume actor for Barney the Dinosaur for, I think, like 11, 12 years, including the movie. And when I heard that, I'm just like, oh, my Lanta, this is Barney. And I probably will get made fun of for it, but I don't care. I'm 35. I do what I want. I watched Barney, until I was like 10. And, by the time you're maybe 7, 8, Barney is really not cool anymore. And I remember people in 4th grade would like sing horrible songs about Barney. I'd go home to my mom crying because I couldn't cry at school about it. And Barney was created when I was born. So my mom just thought it was really wonderful and exposed me to it early, being her first child. So Barney has a lot of good memories for me. And I remember, being technically kind of too old to watch the movie, but we went in theaters and watched the movie. And it's not like the best movie in the world, but I still have fond memories of that. So getting to meet the costume actor and hearing his experiences about being on the show and the craziness with the costume. And even though he wasn't the voice for Barney, he heard it like 50 bajillion times. So he could mimic it almost. I thought it was Barney. It was almost flawless. It was fantastic. So he's just such a warm soul. And he donated to me as well, which is also very kind. So, Mr. Martin, you are a gem. And I'm so glad that you and the Chris have each other in your lives and in the show and get to make all these wonderful lasting memories for everybody. So thank you guys so much for that. And they seem really interested in coming back to Missouri. So yeah, I'm going to keep them up on that. He even let me add him on Instagram. And he also asked for my card for my book, and he has teenage daughters, and he's like, oh, this sounds like something up their alley. And I love supporting local artists. And I just went, oh, what a godsend. So, he is so charming. And Chris is just so fantastic. And I'm so glad I got to work with them on their colorful table. A brilliant idea if I can ever afford it. Or ever have like a lot of prints or something. So people grab prints all the time, right? And, it makes a mess. That's what happens. So what they did is, I don't know how they did it, but they took, like a tablecloth that you get for conventions, and not only did they print their banner on the runner part, but at the top, they printed all of their prints available. So you can just point to the one on the tablecloth design. It's not a physical print. And then they would grab one from their portfolio that they keep safe behind the area. So kids don't mess up the prints or somebody accidentally knock them over, because that happens all the time when I work with people. That happens with my stuff sometimes too. So I was like, oh my gosh, that's brilliant. And Chris goes, well, that's all Josh's idea. Everything good is Josh's idea, but I'm the smarter one because I always take credit for our ideas. Oh my goodness. It was fantastic. We also had Chris Winiger was there, and he's been in a lot of things as well. He had quite a long line, and he just loved talking to his fans, and he was so endearing and everything. So I got to work with him a little bit while the Dragon Ball people would have panels, and then the head person in charge of the talent assistants would go with them, of course. So I would stay. I volunteered, or she would ask me to stay, and I said, sure. So Mr. Winiger worked with him for a couple hours, and he has luscious long locks. And he was great. But he really adored his fans, you could tell. And when people would be nervous around him or just ask him questions, he just was giving them their full attention. He would ask back. He cared about their lives and their interest, and he would make sure their pictures were perfect. And I just love when celebrities or anybody does that for their fans and are grateful. So I really enjoyed working with him when I did. And he gave me a hug too when actually they all gave me hugs before we left. I got several from Josh, but oh my gosh, so that was really wonderful. And then of course we had Damian Clark. So he plays Cell in Dragon Ball, who's on the exclusive Gold Pass VIP shirt that I am sporting in these first couple photos here. And he also was very popular. He's been around for a long time. I best know him as Kazuma Soma from Fruits Basket, who is Akio's adoptive father. And he got to play Kazuma in the original 2001 dub and the newer 2019 dub, which he had more of a role in that because it's 3 seasons instead of 1. But he was great, even though I didn't get to really talk to him too much because he was on the far opposite side of where I was. My friend Kent, who does a lot of assistant work for celebrities at conventions, worked with him. And he was just also really cool and chill. He had this really neat leather jacket. And every time he'd come over and he'd mess with the Chris, and he'd mess back, and, cuss words were exchanged, but, in a fake tough, but deep down, I love you, brother manner. He was just really cool, his persona. And getting to just, in general, see the faces behind these characters was and is always awe-inspiring. And at the end, because I helped out, he was very kind. I was a little nervous because I didn't really get to talk to him much all week. And again, he's got this really cool aura, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm such a lame-o, and I ramble, and my voice gets high-pitched. I was really apprehensive, but he's like, okay, sweetheart, which one do you want? And I got nervous, and I said, well, I really like, Kyo. And he goes, oh, so you want Kazuma. And I was just going to have him sign this Kyo lanyard I brought because, well, one, I'm running out of wall space, and two, I didn't want to take one of his prints. But now he just grabbed my the print and signed it, and he goes, oh, I can sign that too. I said, no, that's okay. But then he shook my hand nice, and he goes, oh, thank you, honey, I appreciate you, and gave me a smile. So that's nice that, he was doing his own thing, but he noticed I was doing my best as well. So, yeah, I'm so honored I got to work with these 4 fine gentlemen, and I hope I made their stay in Cape more fun than I knew it was already going to be for them. And, of course, I got to see a lot of my vendor friends. So, Heroes for Kids was there. Lonnie and Jessica weren't. They actually were at Kansas City for the big convention going on the same weekend as ours. But Chelsea and Dennis and Roberts ran the booth very well. Chelsea looked great as Harley, and of course she cosplayed as Barbie. As Barbie in her cowgirl outfit. So every time I said hi Barbie, she'd stop and do the wave from the movie, hi Barbie. So we had fun doing that. She even had roller skates at one point, was roller skating around the convention center. So bless her heart, she's so dedicated. I love Chelsea. Dennis, of course, is fantastic as always. Robert is awesome. Tessa was there. She was great. She even drew me a picture of Valda, which is in the slideshow here. She's trying to get into school for art soon, so that's really exciting. I'm glad she can practice, and I'm glad she enjoys my characters. Let's see. My friend Lindsay was there, and she gave me some goodies for Christmas. I'm glad she liked her late Christmas gifts. I got to work with Mimi, who worked with Mr. Martin for a while, and she also had her wig booth, of course. Glad I got to give her Christmas gift. My friend Paige, I forgot to give her gift, but she's there. Megan and her babies. Love that. My friend Sam and her boyfriend Levi and his little boy were there. My friend Keanu. My friend Matt. Oh my gosh, there were so many people, which was great. I got to see the St. Louis Brick Company, which does the Legos. I got to see a lot of vendors I see a couple times a year and say hi to them. Our local kind of... trying to think how to word it. I guess comic book nerd shop in my hometown. It has, comics and stuff, but also has like Funkos and figures and a whole bunch of other stuff. They always do a table at Cape, and they did really well. Actually, I heard everybody did really well. And then I helped a friend of mine's teenage daughter go meet Chris Winiger. She was really nervous, but she did great. And since I came with Chris, he was extra sweet to her. And she was just giddy when I walked her back to her dad after her first experience meeting a voice actor. So that was a very touching moment for me. That's one of my favorite things, is seeing people interact with the voice actors. Because I might be like, oh my gosh, fangirling like all weekend inside. I can't really release it until the last day. But I get to see their eyes light up, and it just makes me realize how amazing this industry is and how blessed we are that we get to meet them, and even better when they're as kind or more kind than we imagine. So yeah, that's really fun too. And of course, my Villainous Grounds family, I talked about them. They were there. My friend Bob's Art was there. My friends at J Customs, they did really well. They were there in the corner as well, having a good time. Yeah, I didn't really get to hardly leave at all. A little bit Sunday, I got to walk around for maybe 40 minutes and finally do some shopping, which I showed my swag in here as well. But yeah, Saturday, I think twice I left the table that whole day just to use the bathroom. Even then I felt guilty. But yeah, I heard the con was fun. The ramen eating contest I heard was fun. They had like a idol competition. I saw pictures of that. Heard the cosplay contest was great. So yeah, the pictures were great. I heard, of course, the panels, the voice actor panels and all the other panels were fantastic. So you guys are just rocking it. And I can't wait for not only Cape Comic Con, which is the same weekend as my birthday in November, but also, of course, Cape Anime in the spring. And I did like the badges quite a bit this year, so that was fun. Mr. Josh and Mr. Chris were like, we want VIP badges because both of their characters were together on it. So I asked Mr. Ken if they could have badges, and yeah, he said yes, of course. So yay! I did get a Sailor Moon drink, which was good. It had sparkles in it. It was this pretty like prism iridescent, kind of like violet sweet pea color, and it had boba balls in it. So it was very interesting. Very sweet. It took me a while to drink it, and then of course I had a Luna cake pop. I wanted Artemis because he's my boy, but it's vanilla cake. And if I can have a choice between vanilla cake or chocolate cake, I'm gonna always pick chocolate cake. So, but it was really good. And then I got a free Sailor Moon cookie on Sunday because they were trying to give them out, and they were designed like Sailor Moon's uniform top, which was awesome. And then, of course, I got some of my favorite Dragon Ball chocolate bonbons from Cakes Reimagined. And she's having a baby soon. And here she was sweet and came and talked to the guest. And she made a special Boo cupcake. And when she gave it to Josh, he was just like melting just from happiness. And, of course, she gave them to the Chris as well. And they were all like, oh, there's so many sweets. But they enjoyed it. And they said all the food that they had that weekend was absolutely incredible. So, yay, another point from Missouri. At least Southeast Missouri. So, really excited about that. So, that was awesome as well. I saw one of my students. I saw a lot of people that I often see at the Cape conventions. So, they kind of recognized me from working or, just saying hi. I'm trying to think. I think that's basically everybody that I saw. But yeah. So it was a great time. The space was good. Actually, Chris Winiger kept talking about how wonderful the setup was. He said the ceilings were high but not overpowering. There was a nice little ambiance with the lighting. He liked it had enough space, but it wasn't like a gym size or anything. It wasn't real echoey. It had a nice carpet. So yeah, he kept complimenting the space immensely. So yay. So thank you for that. Jurian. I had to think, almost said Hilton. The Jurian and Kate. We appreciate that. And of course, I had Chick-fil-A on the way home Saturday. And I was only going to do Saturday only because I didn't really have anybody to stay with like I normally do, which is fine. But I didn't want to, book a hotel when I only live like an hour and a half away. But also, did I want to get up early and drive and miss church? But both the Chris and Mr. Martin's like, you're coming tomorrow, right? And I said, well, maybe if you want me to. And they go, you're coming tomorrow, right? And they kept begging me until I think 5 or 6 different times until finally, before they even left for the day, they're like, okay, you're coming tomorrow. And I said, okay, I'm coming tomorrow. So I did. And then I had some Japanese food Sunday because my local Japanese restaurant decided to randomly shut down. And I knew I wouldn't be able to get a table because it would be busy. So I made sure I got some Japanese in Cape because that probably will be the closest one. Except maybe Festus, which is about 45 minutes north. But if I can pick to go north or south, I'd prefer going south. It's easier from where I live by far. And I love the products I got. I didn't do too much crazy spending, but I do very much like what I have. And, of course, supporting all of the local artists and my friends the best I can. So, yay. All right, guys, thank you so much. If you have any questions about the convention or you were there, please send me a comment. Please subscribe if you're not, and check out my website, morganscomnick.com, or my Patreon, Morgan S. Comnick, after Patreon. And, of course, I have a Facebook, Instagram, X, which I don't really update, Goodreads, oh my gosh, YouTube, of course, because you're on that, and a whole bunch of other wonderful sites as well. And, of course, I'm on Amazon for my books. All right, guys, thank you so much. Talk to you soon. Lots of love. Be dragon-tastic. Bye.